This one, it's a simple and very effective one to be extremely fitting in that part. We made some fire skill there, a lot. In this part, it's very important not to hit the middle part. Do that correctly, there is no fussing. A soldering station. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing some experiments with D-shaped wire. I truly love D-shaped wire. You can play with that as much as you want. It's not only for rings, you can make rings, of course, you can make chains out of it, you can create textures, you can put a pattern on it as well. When we're working with kind of dull metal color when it comes to silver, if you would be comparing that to, let's say, copper, or comparing that with brass or gold, all those metals have a warm side of it. And silver is very cold, and it's like, if you will keep it flat, it will be flat. We don't want that. We want to create textures, we want to create shapes, and we're trying different ways how to achieve it. That's why it's very good to practice hammering. More you hammer the piece, basically better it will look. Well, in some cases. Sometimes when we're creating jewelry pieces, it gets frustrating, it gets long, it gets, you know. This one, it's a simple and very effective one to create from D-shaped wire. We don't have to have a lot of fancy equipment for it as well. Wooden block, hammer, D-shaped wire, and we go. So yeah, let's get started and I will show you everything in the process. And we're starting everything with measuring our D-shaped wire. It doesn't have to be exactly the same to get the same result, but it has to be around it because it will determine how your end result will be looking like. Now we're cutting parts of D-shaped wire. We need 8 for each of the earring. And I chose go around 3 centimeters in the length, but you totally don't need that. It's enough to have just maybe 2.5. It depends on your cutting because we will cut that. Just to solder everything correctly, we need very straight and very clean edges. That's why we sand and we go with pliers in places where our D-shaped wire is not that straight. And of course, checking if our D-shaped wire is gliding together because we don't need gaps, we need very beautiful connection. You can solder everything in one line because we need just squares to cut out of it, but it's easier to have smaller pieces to solder together. When it comes to D-shaped wire or round shaped wire, it doesn't matter because to heat up bigger pieces of a metal is always harder, because it's slower and we can deal with a lot of fire scale and we don't want that. We need flat edges first and then we will cut. It's easier to do it with this beautiful vise. It's very helpful really. If you don't have one, I totally recommend to have one because it's truly helping a lot. If you don't have one, of course, you can go with a file, just have flat edge and file all those edges yourself. Now we need to make sure we have 1 centimeter. When you measure, always make sure that you keep in mind that you will lose some metal when you will be sewing or filing as well. So when you're cutting your square, make sure that you're cutting that from the outside of the line, or maybe you're very accurate and just go straight on the line, but I recommend just to go a bit to other side. It's better to have some more metal and file that down than not to have enough, because we need to be accurate in this part. We will connect everything, that's why. And the second way, if you don't have that vise, you can always put that on a flat surface and cut it like this. This bench peg, it's perfect for that. And you can see I'm just going straight on the line and cutting that through. And after that, you still need to file those edges a bit. We want to be extremely fitting in that part of soldering all those 4 1 centimeter squares together. It's important. And now we are soldering everything, and it is an easy part here if you have a very good fitting. Everything touches together And then it's a blast for solder to melt in those joints. You want your solder would be melting. Of course, if you want to get that beautiful melting, you have to warm everything to the same temperature here, and then focus your torch on spaces you want your solder would melt, because solder always melts in the hottest part. We made some fire skill there. A lot. That's why we go with the hardest abrasive, and it's a yellow wheel from the Deco Wheels. I'm not working with them, but I truly love this product. And we just go and change wheels because it goes like wet and dry paper would be, but we're working with a rubber wheels here, and it makes everything just easy and clean. You know, we're just going through grids, and sanding is crucial step in making jewelry. The way you will go, the way you will turn your piece, that's how the piece will be looking at the end. Your sculptor or painter, imagine that. The way your brush will go, the way your art will be seen, and in this case, a jewelry piece. And now we have to anneal everything, because we did put a bit of effort to sand everything. So everything that you do hardens your piece, and we need soft piece when we want to shape it. Finally, we came to a shaping part, which is one of my favorite parts to do. If you don't have a hammer, you can go with punches, as I showed you, because I used to go with punches all the time when I didn't have hammers. It takes a bit longer time to do that, but it still works, and if you want to do that, give it a try. It works. And I'm going on a pine wood here because it's the softest one. This block was a bit hard, but sometimes it's not bad to go in, because then the shape keeps itself way longer. And this part is very important not to hit the middle part, unless you're going for a totally different view, which is beautiful still. So you can go just with the big hammer and hammer everything in that round shape. And even not hammer at all, it still looked very pretty when it was polished. But I was seeking to have accentuated four corners here, so we can still see how separate they are, but they're still in that round shape as well. So I really love that view. And you can leave it like this, but you know me, I like to hammer a lot. So I needed to anneal everything. Everything was just not soft anymore, not moving anymore. And we go again the same way on four corners, not hitting the middle part, and just making that roundness even more. And I'm going with a small hammer, even though we could take a bigger one and maybe heavier one, which would make a job way quicker. But actually it was going very quickly to the middle part, and if you want to keep control going, go with a smaller hammer, because you can truly see how the metal is shaping, and you can hit right spaces, not wrong ones. Here we're just filing our corners, not to have sharp corners. Jewelry, it's no joke, we need soft corners here. And finally we can solder our earring post. And I showed how to do that correctly and harden everything just to prepare earring posts for wearing in my other videos, so I will tag that here. And if you do that correctly, there is no fussing. A soldering station, everything goes where it should be, and we have a very beautiful connection there. This step is optional, as always with sanding. It depends how well you made your piece, how that soldering was going, and of course what you want to see on your piece as well. Mirror shine or matte satin finish or satin mirror finish. We have a lot of finishes, so choose what you like to see the most. I thought mirror shine complements this piece the most, so I was going with the tripoli and with the rouge after as well. And yeah, we have a very beautiful piece. Put that in a tumbler if you want to harden that more. But construction is pretty thick itself and it holds the piece very nicely, so you really don't need to do that. And yeah, we have a beautiful piece. Just look how that reflects the light. I truly hope this was interesting project for you. I hope it was useful. I truly love to create pieces like this when it's just about the metal, no fussing around with stones or different settings. It's just all that it is and it's enough. Because it's all about simplicity and trying to find ways how to create jewelry from what you have, maybe. You don't have to have very fancy stones or fancy equipment. You just basically can create patterns out of D-shaped wire or round-shaped wire. It's for you to choose. Maybe you will try it out yourself. So tag me, maybe in the stories, maybe you have a YouTube channel as well. I would love to see that. I hope this will inspire you to experiment more with metal and I hope you like it. And I will see you in my next one.